Ferrari are officially rebuilding. Mercedes waste their time. Some old new tracks join the F1 calendar, and we finally have the answer to a burning question. Who is XNDA? Let's jump the start.
Hello, people. We are back to England for the Silverstone Grand Prix. I'm here. My name is Wellington with two of my closest friends. Yancy, say hello.
Hey.
Ruben, say hello.
What's going on? We're back to England.
Yeah.
To England.
We're not quarantined.
Yeah.
England.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, we're there in spirit.
No, let's not lie. We're not there. We wish we were
spirit.
there.
We're there in the
We
spirit.
wish we were there. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're trapped on U.S. soil for a number of reasons. But did you guys feel like that, what is it, that Pablo Escobar meme where you're just staring at the wall, looking at the pool? Like,
Yeah, I felt like I was in an empty pool.
I'm missing F1.
Yes, I felt like I was in an empty pool sitting
That
on
was
a
a good
random
one, too.
bench inside an empty pool.
That was a good one.
But yeah, we're ready for some racing action to get started. Today's we're recording here on Wednesday. We're looking to get started here on Friday morning with the practices and lead right into the race. Let's
Chomping
get
at the
going.
bit.
Yeah, definitely chomping at the bit. Let's get going with some news. As you guys are aware, the F1 calendar has been expanded to add some old friends and a new one to F1. 3 new tracks have been added. Nurburgring on October 11th, Portimao in Portugal on October 25th, and Imola on November 1st.
I like the way you're just trying to like struggle to say those names.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm actually going to question, like, is it Nurburgring or Nurburgring? I don't know.
I think it's the
However you feel
Nurburgring.
comfortable saying it.
How about you say Nordschleifer? Whatever it is. Or the Nordschleifer.
I would not be able to say that one.
Yeah, see, what do you think of these tracks being added?
But listen, man, they're newer tracks, so that's always exciting. Now, and looking at the actual like onboards of what you can see on the internet, I think the most exciting track for me is going to be Portimao in Portugal. It seems like it's a flowy track, and I like flowy tracks, but it's not very long, so you're not going to get these crazy braking zones either. But it's very flowy. It's not like these 90-degree turns and stuff like that. But it's wide, so you'll be able to overtake.
What they call it on the WTF1 podcast, they called it a thick boy of a track because,
exactly.
because you could fit so many cars
Exactly. So you're not gonna,
wide boy.
It's not gonna be like a Silverstone where you have like long straights and flowy corner. I call them flowy corners. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but because it's almost like, in a way, it's like Barcelona, but a little bit wider.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it doesn't become a Barcelona race. I don't really like that the racing there too
Well,
much.
the map
So,
looks like Barcelona.
yeah, it looks a lot like it.
Ruben, what do you think of these 3 new additions?
The Portugal one, I can't even say the name anyway. Either, but
Portimao. You gotta
Portimao.
lift your
So I gotta-
pinky finger when you say it. Portimao.
so I gotta go with my Spanish accent.
Exactamente, como si tú fueras hablando español.
There you go.
Portimao.
Portimao.
There you
Okay.
go.
So yeah, I'm excited for that track because it's new. We've never raced there before, so we're gonna get different perspective and stuff like that. I think only Mercedes has gone there. They did some testing a while back there, but that's pretty much it. So whenever you bring something new, brings different action, different stuff, and then as we get used to it, is when it starts showing similarity to other tracks and all that other stuff. So the action, it's just to watch. We're here, we're here for the spectacle. So
I wonder how the Nurburgring is going to be too, because they haven't raced there in a while. But
You know who raced there not long ago was Ruben himself. The man, the myth, the legend.
did you do the F1 track or the Nordschleifer?
no, we did the Nordschleifer.
The
Nordschleifer.
That was a fun.
Who got
day.
the best lap time?
We don't know.
No, I don't even know. We were in Volkswagen.
No, that was my next question. Were you in a Ferrari?
No, we
Were you in a
rented-
Mercedes?
No,
Were you in a Porsche?
We went there on a budget. We rented a Volkswagen patio, something like that. Some little Volkswagen that they don't come to the US.
If you've ever watched the Flintstones, that's what it was like. I had my feet out the door, kind of skateboarding style.
But it was fun to do.
How challenging was that, man?
It was tough.
It was super tough. I thought a race car. I was dying.
For me, I was sweating after each lap.
Me too.
But
Crazy.
so the Nurburgring.
Wellington was there too. He didn't say he was there, but he was there as well.
Because it's probably the worst lap time of all.
No.
You ever watch like Mario Kart? Bowser? That was me. I was like the slowest guy.
Yeah, it's like, when you're so excited and then you can't follow directions. That's what happened to me. The guy just me at the first roundabout, the first left, or the first right, the next roundabout, the second right. You think I'm remembering that? So I'm going up a couple of rounds. I was like, where the hell am I going? It's like to turn around.
It's like when the commentator in Sky F1 like start going through the turns and stuff, and you're like,
So I had to turn back around.
In the track. He couldn't find it.
How did they find the track? I'm talking about.
Oh, you weren't even on the track yet?
I'm on the public roads. So pretty much.
I take it back. I think it was you that had the worst lap time.
No, because I think when we rented the cars from, they're closer to the F1 track, but they don't connect. They do connect, but for the public they don't. So you have to go through the public roads on the outside to be able to go to the main, the main entrance to the North Track. It was dope.
So just like what Ruben mentioned, the Nurburgring giant track is not what's going to be used now. The current layout that is going to be used for the Grand Prix was introduced in 2002. Nurburgring as a whole has been around since 1927.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, the last race there was the last F1 race there was in 2013, and that's when it was alternating between Nurburgring and Hockenheim as the German or European Grand Prix.
But the last race on the F1 track, not the North track for whatever.
On the F1 track, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that Nordschleife was super dangerous for any F1. Even in the 70s, it was dangerous.
Right. Well, in the 70s, that's where Niki Lauda's accident took place.
Yeah.
That's where he ended up getting all the burns that he ended up...
Almost lost his life.
Man. Yeah. He actually, right before that race, he held a driver's meeting saying it's too dangerous to race in this track, and everybody wanted to go ahead. And unfortunately, he was the one that... Well, unfortunately, somebody got hurt, and it was actually him that got hurt.
For those that want to know that story in particular about Niki Lauda and James Hunt that season, the championship fight, they can watch the movie Rush, which was an awesome...
I was about to say the wrong name, right? I was going to say Driven.
Oh, man. How you going to mess that up, bro?
It's just a photo of the moment.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone was not in that movie.
So there's that, and then Portimao that's coming up on October 25th. It's actually going to be the first F1 race at that track. F1 has raced in Portugal, but at a track called Estoril. They hadn't raced there since, I believe, the 90s. I didn't write that information down, but Portimao, like Yancey was describing, it's windy. It's I actually read a description earlier today that said it was reminiscent of Spa, just based on the environment. But if you look at the track map, it looks a lot like the Barcelona Catalunya.
Yeah, it looks like Barcelona, but without that creepy ass chicane at the end of the line.
So pretty much Barcelona and Spa got married and just
had a little Portimao baby.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I guess it's flowy like Spa, and then with the tight twists and turns of Barcelona without that damn chicane.
Yeah. Lastly, it's Imola. That used to be the location for the San Marino Grand Prix, which was the second race in the F1 calendar in Italy. That is also in 1994, where Ayrton Senna, the legendary driver, ended up having an accident and passing away. F1 is returning to that. It was still always an A grade or
FIA grade A
track. So they had done some construction there to just make a couple of alterations, but we're returning there. We'll see how that goes. Actually, I think Alex Albon was very excited about it. There was a couple of drivers that mentioned that they're excited to go back to that track that they had not raced to since their junior driving days.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where it's like Monaco. You're probably not gonna get the best race there because it's very hard to overtake. It's very narrow, but drivers love to drive there. So I mean, I guess we'll see what happens.
That's gonna be a good track to go.
But I think it's gonna listen. Anytime you get a new track, it's always good because it's something different that you haven't seen. So you can't really. There's no predictions. You don't know what's gonna happen. We're talking like we know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. So I mean, just the element of surprise is always a good thing.
Can't wait for that either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gonna be. It's a great ad. It's another track,
Yeah,
then another
absolutely.
race.
Yeah,
On a
and
year, that was already, you could say, doom or whatever. You know. So
Yeah, it's an historic race. I mean,
and the track itself.
yeah,
it's
and the
been around
track
for
is
so long.
for so long. It's very It's like steeped in history.
Yes, sir.
The only thing that's disappointing to me is, as a gamer, I can't even race these tracks on the F1 2020 game. But whatever, I'm sure Codemasters is even more disappointed than I am.
Well, at least they put the black Mercedes in there.
Yeah, they did. They actually did that update today,
Okay.
I think. So just moving
A
on.
little bit more happy.
Yeah, it's true. But it will be wonderful if they offer like a signature edition of the game, and you know.
So I got to pay more.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a money grab.
Yep.
So just moving on to just kind of wrap up some news from last week that still has not been resolved. The supposed clause in the Checo Perez contract with Racing Point is that he needs to be let out of his contract by July 31st in order to be able to, I guess, have it all happen, I guess, the right way.
2 days from now.
Yeah, 2 days from now. There's no word on what's happening there. What's the deal with Vettel? Like we talked about last time, supposedly the offer is in Vettel's hands already. Yes, what do you think is going on here?
I think they're gonna wait till the last minute as usual. I think what's it, Wednesday before race weekend. On Thursday we get all the news. We start getting that it's like the dam breaks and all the news comes in. and I think we're probably gonna get an announcement now. If I said it before, I think Vettel's a done deal. If you get to bring in a 4-time world champion to that team that's up and coming, you better do it. I mean, on Racing Points, Racing Points view. Now, the decision's in Vettel's hand. He's a 4-time world champion. He wants to make sure that he's in a competitive car. It sure looks competitive, but we'll see how everything works out this weekend. I think this track is probably going to be better for them this weekend.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Yep.
because it's not as as tight and twisty as and slow speed as Hungary. But yeah, man, I think the deal is done. I think Vettel will sign. I don't think Vettel is gonna want to stay a year out. He sounds like he still wants to race.
I actually think that he's still waiting for Red Bull.
I think you're right. The longer this drags on, the more I agree with you.
If this weekend comes out that they re-sign Albon for at least one more year, okay, then he signs.
No, man, listen. If he
know
goes,
what it is?
if
I
he
got
goes
it
to
already.
Red Bull, he's gonna go to AlphaTauri, and I don't see him going.
I got it.
No, he's not.
I got it already.
You know what?
He's not going to AlphaTauri.
Well, AlphaTauri is gonna be a customer team of Red Bull anyway, so they're gonna be able to use upgrades to Red Bull parts next season.
I got it already. I know what's going to happen.
What's going to
But
happen?
I don't think he's going to AlphaTauri. He's definitely not going to Red Bull.
Listen,
What's going to happen?
this is what they're waiting for. They're waiting for all the copyrights and stuff like that from Aston Martin to go through to have a proper corporation to sign them under.
Wow. Okay.
And while all of that's going on, he's still waiting for Red Bull.
Nah, man, listen. He's not going to Red Bull. I don't. You're talking about throwing a match into a haystack, bro.
He still has a lot of connections there.
I know that.
He's
but,
very connected
But
to the
Max is the man there. And you know what? Vettel doesn't play nice with teammates. And definitely Max doesn't. So to put Vettel in that seat, you're gonna see Lewis Hamilton and Rosberg in 2014. Was it 2014? 2016 when
16,
Rosberg
16.
won the championship. That's when the things got real testy between those two. You're gonna see that times 10, bro. It's not gonna happen.
And we're going to also see in the big screen
If
Rosberg get on fire.
if Vettel's in F1, it's gonna be with Aston Martin Racing next year. Because it's definitely not gonna be with Ferrari.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I think Ruben's reaching. He's trying to do a what I did with Fernando Alonso
There you go.
earlier in the season.
He's got the tinfoil hat.
I flipped the coin. I was like, okay, so let's go that way.
All right. So speaking of Ferrari and team news and basically just let's just go around the globe here. But Ferrari, Yancey, if you could talk to me a little bit about their restructuring that they have undergone and are continuing to undergo.
Yeah, what the hell is going on over there?
Well, Ferrari basically did a restructuring.
But without, going under and saying, applying for any money and stuff like that.
Listen, man. What Ferrari we basically found out the reason why they got rid of Vettel. They knew in testing that their car sucked bad, and they didn't want to admit it.
So, but why would you get rid of a driver that can help you?
Wait. I'm not done yet. Not done yet. Their car sucked. And they also know that organization has been flawed for 10 years. Now, what they have done the past 10 years is what any top organization has done. We're Yankee fans, right?
I am.
Well, so I'm sure you are. I'm a Yankee fan. And what the Yankees have done before this current iteration of the team was that they would bring in veterans, they would pay top dollar and bring in mercenaries to try to win championships.
Gotcha.
And that's what Ferrari's done with Kimi. They did it with Vettel.
And Fernando
And they did it
Alonso.
with Fernando Alonso.
But they won with Kimi.
They went with Kimi
On the comeback.
first, but I'm talking about the last 10 years.
Gotcha.
This is we're
okay,
not talking about
2010 from now.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about the last 10 years.
The drop. You're talking about the drop.
There you go. So what they're basically doing, I think they started with hiring Mattia Binotto, but also started with locking up Charles Leclerc for 5 years, is basically going young and build from within. They have a crazy lineup in their drivers academy. They have like 3 drivers in the F2. So now what was left to do after they saw that car as horrible, they used the coronavirus to say, listen, we are going to restructure this, make it more accountable. So they're doing a vertical orientation?
Yeah.
Where they create, which I don't know why they didn't have this before, but they created a new department, the performance and development department, where before the way it was structured was that everybody would come in together, put in their ideas, and then they would work from there. Now everybody's in charge of the department. They come in, this is what we're doing. And we go from there. But it goes through one person as a gatekeeper, and then it goes down the line. So again, this is what they're doing. They are rebuilding to the point where John Elkann, which is the Ferrari chairman, even said it. We're not going to win until 2022. What we're focusing on is getting ourselves within the team, getting ourselves organized and building a better car for 2022 because they know for a fact that they can't get this version of the car with such limitations on development and upgrades. They can't get it to where they need to be, especially when you have Mercedes as far ahead as they are, which is almost a second, which is crazy.
They also brought like the guy, I think that he helped design the Schumacher car.
Yeah, they brought him back in
I
also.
forgot that guy's
But
name.
I think that's all cachet just to bring in a big name.
Gotcha. Okay.
You
Like
know,
bring somebody
because
over there.
that's a long time ago.
Okay.
And these cars are aerodynamically, they're very different from those cars anyways.
So pretty much, I would just from what you said, what I would say is, so they're thinking about it as a business, saying why pour money into this car that we're not going to be able to, because of time, get pretty much our return on the investment on this car.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the new car, so that way we just move ahead.
Well, they're rebuilding. It's what I can only speak for the sports that I follow here in the States.
I got you.
They're doing what the Yankees have done, and now the Yankees have a possibly a world championship caliber team. What they basically did is they broke down the organization. They got rid of the old people. They're not bringing in big contracts, which is basically the big contract would be keeping Vettel. Instead, they bring in Carlos Sainz. They have Charles Leclerc. They lock him up. They have 3 drivers that are in the next 2 years can possibly F1 ready, and they also have Antonio Giovinazzi, which is actually
who was supposed to go.
that's their backup driver if anything happens. So if anything happens to the two drivers this season, the person who's stepping in would be Antonio Giovinazzi in that Ferrari.
Now, out of all that you said, can we talk to Dolan and maybe get rid of him? He's probably the only old head in the Knicks that's left.
My God. Why'd you have to bring that up, man?
Because you're a Knicks fan.
I think that you guys.
I had enough with Ferrari. I don't need to think about the Knicks.
You're happy with the Yankees.
I'm okay with the Yankees for now.
I think you guys,
if they don't stop the season,
unintentionally kind of hit on what was happening there, and it's almost like a parallel path with Ferrari and McLaren, Sergio Marchionne, Ron Dennis, just too involved in all the other little stuff. And you could also say the Steinbrenners, same thing.
Yes.
Stolen, same thing. They need to let the organization be the organization and not meddle in every single aspect of what was going on.
They need to let the racers race.
Right.
And I'm not just talking about like the people in the car. I'm talking about, everybody. That's lingo. The people on the team are racers. They know how to make that car faster. They know what they have to do. But if they're constantly being interrupted by someone who doesn't know what they're doing, let the racers race, man.
Let me engineer. I'm an engineer. Let me engineer.
Let me engineer. Exactly. If I'm a driver, let me drive. Let these people do what they have to do.
Yeah, I agree. Talk to me also about the McLaren development issues. I'm not real clear on what the heck they were. Andres Seidel, that's how you say his name,
Yes,
right?
Andres.
I'm not real clear on what the heck he was talking about with tokens. Last tokens I used was to get on the subway.
That was a long time ago.
time ago.
You were like 5 years old. Man.
Exactly.
Why are you guys looking at me when you guys
You were 50 walking in with your horse and buggy.
I was jumping the turnstile.
Well, the way that, and this is all because of the coronavirus, the way that you're allowed to develop any parts. I mean, you have some areas of development, but going into next season, since the cars are going to be the same, you can use what they call a token to develop a certain area of the car.
So like a major part.
Like a major part. So you're talking about, I'm not sure of the major part. I know suspension is one of them. The engine is one of them. The gearbox is one of them, and things like that. Maybe the brakes, but again, don't quote me on that because I'm not sure what the parts are. But each team is allowed 2. Now, there's an exception to the rule, the way it's written. If you are a customer team, meaning if you are a Racing Point, or if you are a McLaren, or even an AlphaTauri, there are certain parts. If the team that you buy the part from upgrades that part, you're allowed to upgrade that part without using the token.
So for free.
So basically,
you get to jump
free.
the turnstile.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a buy.
There you go. Okay, so what happens? Next season, McLaren will be switching to Mercedes engines. Okay, so that means that they have to switch to not only a Mercedes engine, but they have to switch to a Mercedes gearbox, aka transmission.
I thought they were going to keep their own gearbox.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, they're not. Because they don't make that part. They just develop the car. Or they make the chassis and all of that stuff and all the other parts. But so they have to use those tokens
to be able to get to that level.
To basically
to allow them to change the engine.
To change the engine. Yeah,
a
McLaren has to change those tokens. Now, Racing Point and AlphaTauri, because AlphaTauri
and Haas and Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, but in particular because Haas ain't going nowhere and neither is Alfa Romeo. They have a bad engine. Even if they build a good car,
they're
not even going nowhere. So they're not even mentioned because obviously you're only going to mention the teams that are going to be competitive. So you have AlphaTauri, which is basically a customer of Red Bull, which is the sister team because they are the same owners. So any part that gets upgraded on that Red Bull gets upgraded on the listed parts, gets upgraded on the AlphaTauri. And the same thing goes for Mercedes with Racing Point.
How about Williams? Because they're slow.
Yo, what is your obsession with that team, bro?
We're good.
My Lord. So are you gonna now point out that Russell was the esports champion, like you posted on posted on Instagram?
That was a good post.
Thank you for interrupting me.
Sorry.
With Williams. So McLaren or Andrea Seidel doesn't seem fair, since they are. It's a wash that, yeah, listen, we know we got to change their engine, so we'll be able to use their tokens, but it's not fair that not only can these teams use both their tokens in two areas, but they can update a third area as well. So that means that they can't be competitive with them, especially if they're far out ahead. So that's the issue.
And Racing Point is killing it.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that was clear, but that's what the token system is.
Okay.
So pretty much a mess.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it doesn't seem fair, to be honest with you. So.
And as far as we're still actually doing development throughout this year, just we can't do, what is it? Engine, gearbox, and suspension are now locked.
Yes. So, and then there's going to be other parts that are going to be locked at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. I think the only areas of development would be the aerodynamics. But if you have aerodynamic elements that are not going to work with the general concept of the car, there's no point in putting it on. It's just going to be slower. So you're limited in that sense also.
So the only other, there's other developments going on, but the other major development that has already generated a lot of news is the DAS system for Mercedes. Ruben, talk to me about what they're doing, what Mercedes is doing with their DAS system.
They're pretty much wasting their time because they're still... Yeah, because they're saying they're still going to keep... They're still saying that they're going to keep, developing of it. But if this is something that's already banned from you to use, going forward in the following years and stuff like that, why would you throw more money into it? Unless there's another loophole. Look, we just saw the loophole with the tokens. There may be a loophole and something that there could be done. And maybe that's the reason why they're throwing money in that system still. Or they could just reshape it and rename it and call it SAD. I don't know.
I mean, we saw Valtteri Bottas use it on the pit exit in Hungary 2 weeks ago to warm up his tires. We spoke last time on the podcast that because of the rain, the track conditions were such that the track was cooler than what they would have wanted it to be. So they utilized the DAS system to warm up the tires on Bottas's exit from the pit lane. I just don't. I agree with you. I don't see what the benefit is from continuing to develop that system beyond where it is now.
There is a huge benefit to it, especially this season. Let's get a second and a half instead of a second out on everybody.
No, but look at this. But we're talking about a system that was just meant to make you go faster on the straight,
but it's not.
But now it's being used to warm up the tires too.
But that's the whole thing. That was a ruse.
Yeah,
that was a straight up ruse. It's not to help you go faster on the straights, even though it does help a little bit. But it's more about getting those tires flat onto the pavement so you can warm up the entire tower,
contact surface.
Yeah, the entire contact surface. So when you have a restart, or even at the beginning of a lap during a qualifying lap, or even a restart, your tires are warmer than everybody else, so you have better grip.
So the more tire on the pavement, the faster you make.
So if they want to keep on developing it for this year, because there's teams put on parts, and obviously they have very limited time, especially on track, to figure out what data they get in or what benefits they can get out of this. So the fact that they want to keep developing it, one, this is F1. So they know that another team can make, especially I think Red Bull probably be the closest one, can make any change and be right up on them. So, and that's what makes Mercedes great. They never let up. Also, it is a system that they can learn and maybe use it somewhere else, and maybe down the line they can put it on a car or I mean, a lot of this stuff also gets thrown down the line into other things that they do. So,
right,
I mean,
right. They do DTM, they're doing Formula E
yeah,
now.
So
Red Bull did say that they're not looking to develop that.
Well, because they don't.
But maybe that's what they're telling the public. We don't know what's going on in the back.
Right.
Behind the
yeah, I mean, but also a Red Bull. I mean, I don't know what other racing series Red Bull is involved, but I know Mercedes has a a GT program. They have a DTM program.
Formula
they have
E.
Formula E.
Yep.
So maybe it's something that if they learn enough, they can adapt it to other series and stuff like that. That's what racing is, man. Racing is a hotbed for innovation.
Well,
And
Red
you
Bull
can
as a
put it-
brand is
yeah.
that. Red Bull as a brand is everywhere in ads.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, listen, Mercedes is not gonna let up. That's what you would expect from them. Ruben, I know you like that. So hey, all power to them, man. If you're gonna be a competitor, just, go for broke, man.
You have to.
Yeah, because
All
again, anything changes like that.
Yeah. Speaking of applying yourself and new technologies, I want to talk about what is it that T-Pain used, the voice modulation or whatever.
Man,
Auto-tune.
Auto-tune.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm not saying that Lewis Hamilton needs that, but he revealed himself to be, what is it, XNDA on the Christina Aguilera song.
I can't
Pipe.
believe it.
I have yet to listen to the song though, but I saw that.
He
How did he sound?
He sounded
all
good.
right.
He sounded
Yeah,
pretty
all right.
good. Yeah.
I was joking. I don't really think he needed the auto. Well, I don't know if he used auto.
Yeah. No, but it didn't sound bad. It was like really short, but it sounded pretty good.
Yeah, it just continues to show that this guy is not just at the top of F1, but he's also a clothing designer. He's an activist for, I guess, a vegan lifestyle, Black Lives Matter. He is now a music artist, and he recently posted something on Instagram with Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, he was at Hans Zimmer studio just learning music, which is, it just shows how when he applies himself to something that he wants to be great at it. Not good, but wants to be great. So it wasn't what's crazy, I saw the post on Instagram and he says that he didn't want to reveal it. The intention was to put it out and then reveal it shortly afterwards. And he didn't want to reveal it because he had insecurities, which is crazy because you wouldn't think that somebody at that stature has insecurities.
Right. Somebody that released a clothing line.
Yeah. But I mean, you can see that, we all have insecurities as human beings, no matter how good we are in anything, except for you, Wellington.
Thank you. I was about to say.
I know that
thank
was you
you.
were about to say that.
God.
But yeah, the guy is super talented, and I'm sure that if he applies to the way he does with racing and anything else he does as well, he'll be really good at it. So, and he doesn't sound bad when I heard the song. So.
The song is called Pipe. It's Christina Aguilera and featuring XNDA, who has revealed himself to be Lewis Hamilton. If you want to look it up, I'll put it in the show notes as a YouTube link.
I wonder if one of the trackside reporters is going to be corny enough to ask him to,
To sing the verse? Say the verse?
to throw a few bars down on the mic or whatever.
Well, he might. You never know.
You never know.
During an interview with Buxton, he might just belt out a song.
Another one.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but this is the next one.
Yeah. So the last bit of news is McLaren and their Gulf oil deal. It wasn't long ago that McLaren was losing sponsors left and right. During the dark ages, I'll call it, when they had Alonso, but obviously no fault of his.
2017.
That was just a bad year.
That
was
car,
like
remember
straight
that
papaya.
when
That's
it
what you
was
saw.
straight papaya? There was no sponsors on there. That was a nice looking car, but it would have looked better with some
It was,
sponsors.
but now you see, dude, everybody is their sponsor.
They want a piece of them.
Yeah, Coca-Cola, FX Pro. I don't even know what FX Pro does. Gulf Oil now.
Dow,
Dell,
Dell's
yep,
there.
Dell's a huge one for them. Dell Technologies.
Husky chocolates.
Oh yeah.
Anybody ever tried a Husky chocolate?
No.
No, I'm about to order.
Yeah.
But it
You
just
see
goes.
the advertising works.
Except Rich.
Got him.
Yeah.
Except Rich.
Well, Rich
Well, I
Energy,
wanted
would've-
to try. I couldn't
Yeah,
find
I
it
couldn't find
anywhere.
Exactly.
So it just goes to show that when you start winning, problems start disappearing, and money all of a sudden starts to appear. People would just want to give you money to just show up on your car. Any comments on this Gulf oil deal? Is really.
I'm excited about it. You know why? Because Gulf has one of the most classic liveries that'll actually go
On the Porsche. Remember?
Well, yeah, is that baby blue with orange.
Yeah.
So
stripe orange.
it'll go great with that.
What was
with
that on the Ford
papaya.
GT?
I think it was on the Ford GT.
yeah.
There was a
I thought it
whole.
was Porsche.
They have
Porsche.
probably on a Porsche. Mostly you'll see it in like Le Mans and those old like 70s races because they were together in the 70s. Gulf Oil and McLaren were together in the 70s when McLaren used to race heavily in the States in Can-Am and also F1. Sure. So they've been partnered before. So I wonder if next season's livery it'll be reminiscent almost of what the classic Martini livery with your Team Williams.
You're wondering if it's going to be a title sponsor. You're wondering if they're going to be a title sponsor.
No, they're definitely not going to be a title sponsor. They can be, but they're definitely a sponsor. So the logos will be showing up on the engine covers and in the overalls starting this weekend. But I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be, if they can bring back that classic livery, man, that'll be so sick. Wow.
And it's not
that orange and blue they go perfect.
It doesn't go.
Man.
It doesn't get outdated.
It's not just F1. Man. It's all McLaren. Anything that they're competing. So it'll translate to Indy as well, right?
No, not Indy. It's gonna go to because Indy has a partnership. In Indy, they have a partnership with Arrow Electronics. Yeah. But it will translate to the sports car series, which is the basically the GT Le Mans and those areas, and also in F1.
And that's what that livery outshines.
If they do that, you know how sick. Because if you see the photos when they unveiled it, they had I don't know which McLaren road car was it, but they had it with that baby blue,
maybe
that orange stripe. That was so dope, man.
Maybe, yeah,
maybe a 720.
Yeah, it looks very cool. So I'm excited about that for sure.
So that about wraps it up for news. You guys got anything else?
No, pretty much covered.
All right, so
the Avalanche will be tomorrow.
Yeah. all the news will come up right after we record.
We record this, yeah.
So Silverstone track preview. So to continue with my map descriptions. To me, this track looks like a bottle opener. Yancey says that it looks more like Toucan Sand. I feel like I'm gonna have to Photoshop it. I might post it on Instagram. But it just, to me, it looks too much like a bottle opener. It is yeah. It's been a track that's been around for a very, very long time, and it is an amazing track. It is fast, it is flowy, it is wide, a lot of overtakes, a lot of amazing races.
First race ever in F1.
Yeah.
The very beginning.
70 years.
Yeah, it's gone through a number of changes throughout the years. To me, it's just an amazing track. Even if you're just playing it on the game or on a simulator or whatever, it's going into turn one, you're flat out. Turn two, flat out. You finally hit a little bit, you slow down in turn three, and then it's just so much of it is just flat out that it really kind of tests your ability to dominate a track. And that's the best way I could describe it.
It's like my favorite type of track. Long, wide, flowy tracks where you're not getting these sudden braking zones and everybody's just flying. And it's so much fun to watch those cars go around that track. Can't wait to go watch a race there one day, man. It'd be so cool.
In F1.com today, I saw the video of Ham doing a lap there, and it was a dope. The car doesn't slow down. It's like you said. That turn slows down a little bit, and he just goes back.
It's such a classic track, man.
I think the only turn that you saw making like a hard break is pretty much the last turn.
Yeah.
That's like...
that's it's almost like a hairpin there.
He says like a never-ending turn. That's what he says. It's like a never-ending turn.
Yeah. This track...
Wellington's still turning in the game. Bro.
Yeah, absolutely. This track, because it's so old and because it's so legendary, it's one of the few tracks, along with Spa, that you'll hear names for the turns, not just turn one, turn two. You got the famous Baggett's and Beckett's S turn. You got Cops. You have the Hangar Straight. All the sections are named, and I'm sure each one of them has.
Is amazing to
and
watch.
the one named after him.
There's the Wellington Straight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now I got to go do a track walk over there. So.
I think the Wellington Straight was the old start finish.
Start finish.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even just talking about it is like it's awesome.
You've been around since 1915.
I have. So when we were talking about Ruben coming in 50 years old with the tokens, I was even before that.
So what do you doing? What kind of products are you using?
I'm using, you know what it is? It's the Pharrell plan. He and I, we don't age because we're just happy. You know, come along if you will.
Just happy.
It's a track that I would like to go one day too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm singing here like Lewis Hamilton. I think I can do it.
We need the auto. We definitely need the auto.
It was
tune
that
for you.
pitch?
Huh?
It was on that pitch like that he was singing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hell
I was
no.
like,
Nah, he was more like singer rapping, like what
Gotcha.
we do now.
Like Drake style.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a little bit of recent history. Last year, Bottas had pole position. Hamilton ended up winning because there was a safety car right when he was scheduled to pit. So he ended up just overtaking Bottas in the pit. That was also the race where Leclerc and Max really went at it.
That was awesome.
The race before Austria in 2019, what was it? Max pushed Leclerc off the track, and then Leclerc came back at him big time on this race.
He got his elbows out. He said,
Yeah,
"You ain't doing it to
absolutely.
me this time, bro."
Absolutely.
Chill, man. I'm
Last
here.
year also was when Vettel and Max collided too.
Yeah, I believe
And
that
Max
they
was
did.
also
Yes.
able to make it all the way to second. I guess.
Yeah, Vettel did another one of his.
No, Max last year was not on the podium. The year before, Hamilton and Kimi collided. Hamilton went all the way to last and then came back to second place.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was an
So 2018
unbelievable
you mean?
drive. Yeah, 2018. I apologize. And then 2017, that was the for us it was awesome. For Yancey, not so much. That was the race in which I think it was like lap 46 out of 50 something laps. Kimi's tire blew up in the Ferrari, and then lap 51, Vettel's tire blew up. It was a comedy of errors that race.
Guys, how does it feel? How does it feel to have so much hate in your heart?
I thought you were going to
stating
ask,
what
how does it feel to know a winning team?
Every single
Thank you, Wells.
time we record, there's always some hate towards Ferrari.
Some stab.
You guys are dark inside.
We have voids that need to be filled.
Jesus.
So
You
that's
gotta
it for
remind me of that.
But regardless of the so-called hate, every track you go to is a sea of red.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every track you go to in person, yeah.
Yeah. Because we're a resilient bunch of stuff.
It's the history in the team.
So that's the track description and the recent history. Ruben, as far as predictions, how do you see this race shaking out? And I asked this and I'm like, man, we know how this thing is going to shake out. But how do you see this race shaking out?
It will be 1-2 Mercedes, Hamilton, Bottas, and Max. But I would like a racing point instead of Max. It's a track suitable for them.
I think
and that's their home track.
your
too.
wish is going to be granted, is what I think.
Nice. How about you, Yancy? You're looking mighty serious over there.
Well, I can't argue with you on the Mercedes one, too.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be Sergio Perez third.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I think
You want to get rid of me?
I don't.
I want a third. Get rid of me now.
This track is perfect for Racing Point.
Yeah.
And the way they're going. And they were pretty fast in Hungary in that track.
yeah.
Imagine in this
They were
track
fast in Austria.
where they're literally mostly flat out on the track, man.
And remember, Paris has shown that he could drive fast. He's shown.
Yeah.
He's a Formula One driver.
Okay.
No, but I get what you're saying.
Point taken.
No, for me it's Hamilton, Bottas, and Sergio Perez.
Not Stroll.
You don't think Stroll
Stroll?
will upset Sergio?
Earlier when we were talking about the news with Vettel and Racing Point, and you kept saying, "Oh, they need a 4-time champion." I wanted to say, well, what if they believe Stroll is going to be a 4-time champion? But I couldn't stop laughing. I'm still like wiping the
You
tears.
should have
from
said
my
that
eyes.
just for
You should have said it
comedic
so we
relief.
could just laugh.
Seriously, Stroll a 4-time champion.
If they sell the titles, yeah, he probably can.
What do you mean they sell the titles?
Meaning Daddy will buy it for him.
He's trying to buy him a title by copying the Mercedes.
No, that's part of Racing Point history.
What? They're cheaters? Like
Not cheaters. They're good at copying. They did it in 2009 with a double diffuser. They did it in 2010.
No, that's Mercedes.
No.
Braun turned into Mercedes.
No, but in 2009, they were the first one to copy it.
Oh,
right. When
Yes.
it was Force India.
Yes. And in 2010, they were the first one to copy the F-Dog as well.
Jesus. Oh, they're good at that.
So,
have to look
so
this
they're
up.
saying, hey, we just didn't have any money to be able to compete.
So now they have enough money to
Enough
do.
to do
So instead
all
of
the
doing
research.
instead of doing a partial trace, they're doing an entire trace now.
No, what they're doing now is instead of having one cameraman, they got like 30 of them. Taking better pictures so we could develop the car more.
And they have better cameras.
What did he say that they have like what was it, all the different drawings? So imagine all the drawings they did.
They had. I made a mistake. It was actually 886 instead of
Look at that.
866.
And I read also today that the car almost didn't work. They were trying different things to make the car work properly.
Yeah, but that's why I don't think it's such a bad thing, because obviously this has been around, this sport, for a long time, where people just pick up ideas and all this stuff converges. One thing is copying it, and the other thing is understanding it. And there are a good bunch of engineers over there because they've always punched above their weight.
And they've been able to do it with little money.
So the
Remember
fact that they've been doing that, they did that and just took that whole. I'm surprised nobody else copied that Mercedes philosophy. Everybody went towards the Red Bull side with the high rake,
Yeah.
And try to trap air with the floor.
With the floor, yeah.
And nobody even went to that route, and they finally do it, and everybody's up in arms.
Well, remember the Rebel way,
and they're
was
understanding
working.
it.
The Rebel way was working with the arrow. That was working for a long time. It just in the last year or so, 2 years, it started just going down.
But it's just so complicated. Red Bull. The problem with Red Bull, and it's happening again this year, is that they start off so slow, then they develop the car. It's not a bad car, it's not a bad car like the Ferrari is, but it's just that they have a hard
That's
time.
like music to my ears, what I just heard.
God, here comes the
From
hate.
music.
Here comes the darkness. So it's not a bad car. It's a good car, but then they just have to make certain tweaks. The problem with Red Bull is that they can't do it fast enough, and by the time they do get it done, Mercedes is way out in front, man.
So pretty much that's also what Racing Point was saying, that before their car was made, in an aspect close to the Red Bull way with a Benz engine.
Yeah, everybody.
So they went this
there.
way,
Right.
and it fits the car because that's the.
So that's what I was
Yeah,
going to
you've
say.
seen like all the rakes going up. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
All the other teams have the high rake or copy the high rake because they're not Mercedes customers. You only have two, and that's Racing Point and Williams, who have their own aerodynamic issues. Where even today, George Russell was saying that they can't even follow a car. They're great on Saturdays and terrible on Sundays because once they start following cars, the aerodynamics on the Williams car makes their car unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean the copying thing, that's all BS, man. Everybody's done it. The same thing when Ferrari came out with the smaller side pods and put it above the crash
We saw
structure in
Haas,
2017.
the next year.
But everybody else converts that because even Red Bull went to the smaller openings. So did Mercedes. All of the teams went to the smaller openings because of that. Everybody does it. Everything converges. Again, Racing Point is just doing what everybody else is doing. They understood the car and they're making it fast and they're doing okay, man. I don't see a problem with it.
So you see what happens? Racing Point got money, they got better. If Williams gets money, they'll get better.
Watch McLaren next year, and in 2022 they're gonna be. And what,
dude? You bought a Williams shirt, and it's like you're like the biggest fanboy.
Yeah, but I don't like it that much. It's Martini, the Martini.
No, but that's
but
history.
the way you talk about him, man, Jesus.
Yeah, it's a historic team, man.
He's like rooting for the ultimate underdog.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
That's what I am.
Yeah. Oh my God! So it looks like we're just pretty much in lockstep. It's such a power track. We don't see anyone other than Mercedes or Mercedes Power from Racing Point.
So all right,
beaten.
best of the rest, man. Jesus,
Yeah.
But who's gonna be the best of the rest? Who's gonna be sixth place?
Sixth.
Because this is gonna be the battle.
Let's call it fifth place. No, is it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fifth place.
Because you have.
Well, I guess
two
if you throw
Red
Max
Bull-
in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alban.
Haters. The darkness.
Yeah. So no, I think that it'll be the McLarens next, and then from there it'll be, let's see, the McLarens, Renault, and I don't even want to talk about the rest.
So when we're
Dude, but so you're gonna say Ferrari is gonna be like 10th or place?
They're gonna be below Renault.
Yeah, dude. Think about it.
Ricardo said that I think today.
Oh, really?
Their engine is the problem. Say that they were faster. They think they're faster than a Ferrari. Damn, how far we fallen.
Yeah.
No,
I want to cry.
No, but I'm saying, like, are we including still Racing Point on the best of the rest?
No,
aspect?
man.
So they're not part of the rest.
No, they're
the rest.
top.
Dude, they
top
replaced
3 now.
Ferrari in the top 3.
Yeah, the top 3 now.
Come on, man. We got to speak truth here.
Yeah.
So there you go. So best of the rest right now are what?
If John Elkin's speaking the truth, we got to speak
Renault,
the truth.
McLaren.
I think McLaren ahead of them,
Yeah, McLaren will be ahead of
Renault. And then
So you think Sainz beats Norris?
yeah,
Okay.
in this track.
yeah. No, you don't think so? We'll see.
I think Norris beats out.
Listen, if they get
Sainz.
the energy they had in the first 2 races to be able to bring it down to this track, there'll be also a force.
I think we see the return of Triple L. Last lap Lando.
Scenario 7.
Yes. I think that's what we're going to see.
that would be dope.
That would be awesome.
All right. That about wraps it up for today. You guys have anything else to add?
Can't wait to see Williams' powerful.
I got another stab at Ferrari. If you want me to mention that,
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
I love stabs up.
the 2019 car was 68 horsepower above Mercedes.
Oh, that much.
That much.
What did you say? What did you say?
I got my sources. 68 horsepower,
8 horsepower.
That's a lot of horsepower.
That's a lot of cheating.
and it's gone. Dude.
That's a lot of that's more cheating than Lance Armstrong, bro.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's like Houston Astros territory. But
Don't even get me started.
yeah, let's not get started there.
They got saved by the corona, those Astros. They would have been booed everywhere.
Yeah.
Bastards.
So on that note, Yezi, thank you for joining me. Ruben, stay safe out there. We'll catch up with you guys
And you
after the
guys
race.
Get rid of the darkness.
We'll get better.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Peace out.
Lit.